Hey everyone, welcome to Indie and Everything Indie. I'm Adam, just Adam, and I'm gonna be talking about how Battle for Dream Island, one of the most influential object show, changed YouTube forever and ever. Have you ever looked at a cartoon where the characters are literally a flame, a leaf, a flower, or a tennis ball, and wondered, how did this become one of the biggest independent animated series on YouTube? Well, that's exactly what happened with BFDI. When people first hear about BFDI, they usually think it's just a funny object show with random challenges and silly humor, and that's why most people get bullied in the object show community. And while that's definitely part of what makes it entertaining, there's much more to its story. Over the past 15 years, it's grown to from a simple animated web series into one of the most influential projects in online animation. It has inspired thousands of creators to build an online passionate community and helped create an entirely new genre of animation known as object shows. Today, we're exploring how all of that happened. We'll look at where BFDI started, why it became so successful, how it continued growing over the years, and why people are still watching it more than a decade later. So let's begin. The beginning. Alright? Battle for Dream Island premiered on YouTube on January 1, 2010, created by twin brothers Carrie and Michael Huang. Back then, YouTube was a very ugly different platform. There were gaming videos, comedy skits, music videos, and simple flash animations, but there weren't many independent animated series that lasted for years. Most creators uploaded short cartoons instead of building long-running stories. Lazy bums! Then BFDI arrived. Dun dun dun! The concept was surprisingly simple. 21 living objects competing in challenges to win Dream Island, a luxurious paradise promised by the show's host and the main antagonist, announcer. At first glance, at first glance, it sounded completely ridiculous. Why would people care about a talking sponge, not SpongeBob, or a talking match? The answer was simple, because they had personalities. The characters didn't feel like objects anymore. They argued, made friends, competed, joked around, and sometimes even surprised viewers with emotional moments. Before long, fans weren't seeing a tennis ball or a flower. They were seeing characters they genuinely cared about. That ability to make incredibly simple designs feel alive became one of the show's greatest strengths. And here is why it became so popular. One of the biggest reasons BFDI exploded in popularity was how different it felt from everything else on YouTube. Like, it really did feel different. Instead of focusing on action or complicated stories, it focused on entertaining characters and challenges that would kill humans, and they kind of die in some. Every episode introduced new situations that forced contestants to work together. Work together, no! Compete against one another, but I don't want to compete against that sticky eye, or solve unusual problems. Since every character had a different personality, no two challenges played out exactly the same way. Another major reason was the humor. BFDI has always embraced fast-paced comedy. Some jokes are visual, some rely on dialogue, and others are completely random. The show rarely takes itself too seriously. As an example, so many characters die every episode, and that's just treated as normal. That unpredictability makes it enjoyable for many different audiences. The humor ages surprisingly well because it isn't built around short-lived internet trends. Instead, most jokes come from the characters themselves and how they react to the situations around them. Like, for example, tennis ball. Uh, I'm I'm scared. The power of viewer voting. Perhaps the smartest decision the creators ever made was allowing viewers to participate. At the end of many episodes, fans could vote for which contestant should stay in the competition or which one should be eliminated, depending on the season's rules. That completely changed how people experienced the show. Instead of simply watching them, viewers became part of it. Fans debated every elimination. They defended their favorite characters, criticized contestants they disliked, and made predictions about future episodes. Sometimes even and sometimes entire comment sections become discussions about strategy, friendships, and who deserved another chance. This kept interest in the series alive even between uploads. Rather than disappearing after an episode ended, the conversation continued for days or even weeks. The level of audience interaction helped create an incredibly dedicated fan base. Constant improvement. Another reason the FDI remained successful is that it never stopped improving. If you compare the first episode to recent ones, the difference is incredible. The animation became smoother, the backgrounds became much more detailed, lighting, effects, sound design, and editing all improved dramatically over time. The writing also evolved. Early episodes focused mainly on comedy, but later seasons explored deeper character relationships, larger storylines, and more ambitious ideas while still keeping the humor that made the series popular in the first place. Because, obviously, watching BFDI is almost like watching the creators grow, like really, really grow alongside their audience. Each season reflects years of learning and experience. Now, one of BFDI's greatest accomplishments wasn't just becoming successful itself, it inspired other people to create. After BFDI became popular, hundreds and eventually, actually, thousands of fans began making their own object shows. Some followed the competition format, others experimented with mystery, action, comedy, or drama. Many young animators have said that BFDI was one of the reasons they started learning animation in the first place. That's a remarkable achievement. Very few YouTube series create an entirely new creative community. BFDI did exactly that. Like, that's crazy, guys. Alright. Today, the Object Show community includes fan animations, original music, artwork, games, comics, and a completely original series inspired by the idea of living objects. While every creator brings something different to the table, many trace their inspiration back to this show. So, you guys might be still asking, why do people still watch BFDI today? So, why are people still watching after all these years? The first reason is consistency. The creators continued making new seasons instead of abandoning the project after its initial success. Second, the characters remain entertaining. Even after years of episodes, fans continued discussing their favorite contestants, debating eliminations, and analyzing character development. Third, the community itself helps keep the series alive. Whenever a new episode is released, fans immediately, like literally immediately, begin creating artwork, reaction videos, memes, theories, and discussions. New viewers constantly discover the series, while longtime fans return to see what happens next. The community has become one of the biggest reasons BFDI continues to thrive. When people discuss influential YouTube animation, Battle for Doom Island deserves to be a part of that conversation. It proved that independent creators could build a long-running animated series without a television network or a massive studio behind them. It showed that simple character designs don't limit storytelling if the writing is strong. It demonstrated how audience participation can strengthen a community. Most importantly, it inspired countless creators to believe they can make something of their own. Many successful animators today began as fans making BFTI-inspired content. That's the kind of influence very few internet series ever achieve. At the end of the day, Battle for Demand is much more than a competition between talking objects. It's a story. What began as a simple web animation grew into one of YouTube's longest-running independent animated franchises and inspired an entire generation of creators. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the a great indie and everything indie. Sorry it had to be so long, but anyway, see ya next time. Yeah, bye.